So a few days have passed. It's 3rd of December, I think now, and it's a pretty cold and damp Friday afternoon. I'm off, so today I'm going to try and get this thing looking a bit more like this, standing up on its legs. Over there, so the first thing is I'm going to fit this this piece on the front. I've pre-drilled this piece of material here to do that, so I'll get that on, and then I'm going into the corners there and there. I'm going to fit these pieces that I've made up. You can see them there, they came from scrap material. Into the corners I'm going to come in intending to screw in from the outside in. I'll use different probably use 2 different lengths of screw just to accommodate for the shape of the material. So I'm going to kind of get that done first. It's not going to be tremendously heavy, so then I'm going to maybe dig out and create the pads that it's going to stand on after that, and then move it into position, and finally try and put that piece of material along the back there, and maybe pin it down onto the wall behind, and that should be pretty much it, apart from the decking. So let's see how this goes. Ta-da! There we go. So I appreciate it all looks rather wonky at the moment. I've got to do the bit that I'm not looking forward to now, which is digging to create the space for the concrete pads I'm going to put down. And then once I've got it located, I can put in the bracing, you know, around the legs and you know, in the top there to square it all up and lock it together. There's a lot of give at the moment in the whole structure, so it's quite flexible. I mean, it's stand up, but it's quite flexible at the moment, so it's not in a sense locked into position yet. So yeah, just got a bit of digging to do and slab moving, but I'll bring you back in when I'm done. So I fashioned a base out of bits of rubble and some of the sand that came out of the window, so I'm just going to pop a couple of slabs on top of that, and that should be one corner of our structure sat where it's sitting, hopefully where it's going to be. Oh, I need to get my spirit level as well. Okay, that's the first bit done really. We've got the frame it's sitting on what was essentially a shallow foundation of this sort of gravelly crap, bunch of stones, some more stones on top of that, and then some flat stones. On this side I've actually got a paving slab under it. I'm also going to build up a little bit of a cairn of stones around them just to give them a bit more stability. I appreciate this is a very light and poor foundation. I mean, this is a light and temporary structure, so I'm not going to go too mad with it. At the back end here I'm going to lock these, the ends of these joists to this wall, which is properly built. That will stop the whole structure from moving that way, and then we're going to have strap braces across on the corners to stop the legs from moving at all. So I think overall we're in reasonable shape there, and then I'll start thinking about putting the back joist across, and then we can think about how the shed's going to sit on top of it. So I mean, I was relatively pleased with these bits. These seem to have worked out quite well to hold it all square-ish. I am going to have to get to grips with concreting before we build I've got to build a greenhouse, so I need to give that proper decent foundations, but this is not so much of an issue. Everything's level at the moment, more or less. It's going to settle because everything does around here. Oh, the other thing is that almost all of the lion's share of the weight is going to be on the back half, so most of the load is going to be going down through this wall, so hopefully that will mean that these don't move too much, these legs don't move too much. So there we are. Okay, onwards. Okay, so here we are, we got that all together. We've got our material on the back in position. I've tied this to the wall with a steel plate. I'm going to do the same over there. So there's this bit of wobble to take out. There's quite a lot of wobble that way because there's nothing to stop that. Essentially it's more a mechanism than a structure still. I'm not expecting there to be the possibility of much wobble in that direction because that end is tied to the wall, but I want to stop these legs from going anywhere at all, or at least I want to stop the bottom of the legs from changing position in any direction. So I'm going to brace down there, and then out of sight that bit there, and similarly brace across there and across there, and I think that will be essentially the frame pretty much done then. And I can start putting I've got some joist hangers, I'm putting some joists across to support the weight of the shed, take the shed weight into these members here, which are notched into these members, so there's a direct kind of mechanical or structural load path straight down. So in a sense, they're doing all the work, this one, and everything else is really just making sure that these don't move. Okay, so yeah, so far so reasonably good. I'll just go and do the steel bit over there, and we'll take it from there. I bought these joist hangers to fit the bits across there, but unfortunately I've just realised they're too deep. So these, I think, I've never used them before, I think these bits need to fold over the top of this, and they're too deep. I had to bend that tab down, and that'll actually nail into the bottom, which was quite nice. But I'm going to have to, I think I'm going to get them into position and then cut. Oh, sorry about this. Sorry about that little cut there. I'm going to have to cut down there, I think, when they're in position, so I can fold everything over. I'll show you the result when I've finished. I'm not getting more of them, I'll just do it. It's overkill for this job anyway, really. So I'll give it a go. Okay, so I've got my kind of intermediate joists in, so I have to basically whiz off the ends of those nails. I could clench them over, but I quite like the idea of being able to maybe reverse out if I need to. And I need to cut, where's my finger there? You need to cut down that little bit there and sort of origami it all together. These were supposed to save time. I'm not sure if they will in the end, these things, but anyway, I'm sure they'll be great once I've done. Okay, all right, bring you back in a second. Getting closer. Now we're on it. I'm on the deck. It's a whole new perspective on the world. Just a little bit higher up. It's going to be handy for working on the internet and power to the shed, that's for sure. I'm actually quite lucky that I didn't interfere with that. I don't think the shed structure itself is going to miss that cable, which is good. So yeah, that's not looking too bad. It's the light is starting to fail. It doesn't look like it on camera, but so I think it's time for tidy up time, I think, so that I make sure that I don't leave any of this stuff out in the inevitable rain. But yeah, fairly pleased with progress. Those joist hanger things, I'm not sure if they were worth it, to be honest. It feels like overkill really, but anyway, they'll do the job nicely once they're fitted, and yeah, we'll take it from there. I still have to brace those legs. There's quite a lot of weight. The whole thing feels fairly solid actually, but I'm gonna brace those legs up in the two directions I was talking about, just to be double sure and to feel like I've done a vaguely decent job of it. All right, I'll probably call this one there, and maybe do a little short video when I've basically got the bottom finished. I think there's not an awful lot more of interest to do apart from just do that bracing. Okay, I'll see you on the next one then. That's me out from the new shed base. Goodbye from shed base.